What's up, guys? Jim Squares here, bringing you some more solutions for your life. Today's a money hack around how much life insurance you need. So first, make sure you like and subscribe down below to share with others so we can all get better at protecting our families. So mainly, the reason you want life insurance is to protect your family. And the general gist that I have is I did a bunch of research for you guys, so make sure you can check out the sheet that I created. And this gives you a guide. So it's all around how to protect your family, how much you might need, and then I'm going to get into it. And let's show you the sheet right away. So we'll go over to the sheet. All right, here's my insurance building sheet. So now what I've done is I created a sheet where you can have, if you want to create your own custom estimate of what your insurance is, you put in your total debt, your annual spending, your assets, and this is say the minimum amount of insurance versus the maximum. So that's kind of what it would come up with. And that's a really quick off the cuff if you want to customize it. Now if you want to see kind of on average, kind of what you might want, so you could see, if you look at this, column A is the age. So if I am 25, on average, people who are 25 have debt of 80K. So, and then income is about 50K, and typical, the minimum insurance you would have with that debt and income level would be 380K. The maximum would be $1.3 million. Now, you'll notice as this goes, what I did is I plugged in all the data all the way up to 75, where it shows the average, of both debt and income. And those will fluctuate. And this doesn't take into consideration assets. So you could take off assets. So if you're like, yeah, this holds true for me, at age 27, I have 80 grand and I make about 50 grand, then, but I have $100,000, I'm just making easy numbers, then you could reduce both these numbers by 100,000. Now, here's where it gets tricky, is you look at this chart. So you could see when you first get, first start working, first start coming out of college, is very low levels of insurance is needed. So it's I'll say the lowest level, and then only bumps up and then it comes back down. So what you can do, what I recommend doing, is I recommend stacking your insurance. So first, you can get a quick term policy. It's cheap, pretty cost effective. Definitely check around. I think I have another video on different places you could check for term, but you would check term and you would have, say, hey, get a policy to cover you at this level of insurance. Let's just pick $500,000, and you would need $500,000 from here to here, at least. Or if you say, yeah, I need $1 million, then you say $1 million of term. That would cover you all the way from, and you plan on holding it for 50 years. So from age 20 to age 70, and then you have that basis covered. And then if you get a whole bunch of debt and you start running up stuff, or if your income isn't growing, or if it is getting huge, then you could say, oh, I'm going to buy another $1 million, and you buy another policy, and you would keep that one in place from, let's say, age 35 until 55, when you've hopefully funded all of your retirement vehicles. And what this can do is this will allow you to have a super cheap policy for $1 million for this long, and have another policy which is stacked on top for this shorter period of time, just to cover you when it's a big spike. So if you look at where most of our expenses are the most, is 35 to 55. That's where we're running most, like, nasty insurance levels, where things cost the most. You have kids' college funding, you have your home, you have your car, you have a life, you have you have trips, you have everything, and that's pre-retirement. So that's where you're going to want to focus on. Look at this as an exception period that you need to fund for just a period of 20 years, and that would be like right around mid-30s. But the basis before and after, you could say, oh yeah, I want a base of $500,000. So I would definitely recommend getting multiple policies. You can even get 3 if you wanted to. Like, get a basic one where, yeah, I need $500,000 because we're just ignoring the maximum insurance. Because most of the time when you work with an agent, you're going to see the maximum insurance, and then this minimum is another amount. So it just depends. So one is like minimum insurance is like 6 times your salary, and maximum is I think 25 times. So that's how these numbers work out. So the minimum, let's say $500,000, that would cover you all your whole life for typical salary. But you have to look at the income, because if your income is way higher, then it's going to be way higher. So let's play with this. So let's say you make an income of $100,000. So you plug it in, and then you can see the maximum insurance you're going to need is $2.4 million. where if your debt is low, but the minimum insurance is 570, so the minimum doesn't change too much. It's the maximum that changes wildly depending on what it is. So if you look at, on my chart, it only showed up to 1.5 million, but truly, if you have 100,000, 2.4 million is what you need. So again, I recommend playing with this tool. It's open for all of you guys to play around with your own numbers, and make sure to share it. And yeah, so that's what I got. That's the tool I have for you. Make sure you play around, plug in your own numbers into your spreadsheet, and so that way you can come up with your own kind of guide. It's always good to have an outside source. So whenever something I always try to do when I'm looking to buy something is I try to find someone who's not an interested party or who doesn't benefit from the buy to help give advice. And that's what this is. You can look at this and go, oh, hey, this tool that calculates the minimum and the maximum, and you can see what the agent tries to sell you. So if they try to sell you $2 million and you look at this and it says 1.5, it's a little iffy. It's a little iffy. So it's definitely, everyone's circumstances is a little bit different, but that's what I would recommend checking out. So at least as a guide, because it gives you a feel on what you might need. And that's truly what you want to go in. You want to come in with like a guide or initial gut feel for what you need, because otherwise you go in blindsided and they go, you need 2 million, and you go, what? And you go, well, I'll cut you a deal. We'll sell you 1.7 million, and it's like you might only need $500,000. So, and then also you want to think about like your significant other, like how will they manage, or can they manage without you? Like maybe you're both making you're all self-sufficient and you have no kids. Why would you need insurance? So just something to think about. So you could just be, if you need a small policy, I would recommend checking out my video on free insurance. So for $11,000 of free insurance, check it out. It's worth it. It's free. All you do is spend a little bit of time to grow it, and then just let it run. So if you have any other hints or tips around life insurance, definitely let me know. Put it in the show notes so we can update the spreadsheet to make it better. But this is what I got. This is what I would recommend. And in the meantime, keep growing together. Share this with others. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll be talking later.